Close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself this one question. If the smartest minds on the planet, the people building the future, the people shaping what your children will live with tomorrow, if even they feel afraid sometimes, what does that tell you? We often think fear is only for the weak. We think confidence means having no doubts. But that is not true. Real wisdom begins the moment a person says, I am concerned about where this is going. And today, I want to talk to you about a fear that is not loud, not dramatic, not spoken in panic, but quiet, deep, and extremely serious. Imagine a tool so powerful that it can educate a child, heal a patient, write a book, run a company, and in the wrong hands, mislead millions, destroy trust, and erase the line between truth and lies. Now imagine being one of the people who helped build that tool. Would you sleep peacefully every night? This is not a talk about technology alone. This is a talk about responsibility, about ethics, about what happens when progress moves faster than human values. Just like fire can warm your home or burn it down, power without wisdom has always been dangerous. History teaches us this again and again. The real fear is not that machines will become smarter than humans. The real fear is that humans may stop being wise, stop being honest, stop being accountable. And when that happens, no invention can save us, so stay with me, because what you're about to hear is not meant to scare you, it is meant to wake you up. Power without responsibility is one of the greatest dangers humanity has ever faced. Time and again, history has shown us that even the noblest intentions can lead to disaster when authority, influence, or tools are used without careful thought and accountability. Take, for example, the invention of nuclear energy. In the hands of scientists, it promised a new era of unlimited clean power. Yet when that same power was wielded without responsibility, it led to destruction the world had never seen before. The lesson is clear, matter how advanced or promising something is, if it is used without responsibility, harm is inevitable. Responsibility is not just about rules or laws, it is about awareness of consequences and the courage to act ethically even when shortcuts or easy gains tempt us. Think about social media platforms. The creators intended to connect people, to make communication faster, to spread ideas. But when responsibility was ignored, misinformation spread like wildfire, privacy was violated, and the very tools meant to bring people together began to divide them. This is not an abstract fear, it is reality. Tools and power amplify the values of those who wield them. If integrity and accountability are absent, the results can be catastrophic. Even in everyday life, the principle applies. A manager with authority over a team can either inspire growth or crush confidence. A teacher with knowledge can uplift a generation or limit potential by being careless with words. Small decisions accumulate into large consequences. That is why responsibility must accompany power at every level. In the modern world, technology has made this lesson even more urgent. Artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and advanced systems are creating possibilities that were unimaginable a decade ago. Yet, without responsible oversight, these advances can lead to unintended harm. The fear is not that people are trying to cause harm, it is that the complexity of what they create makes it impossible to predict every outcome. And without responsibility, the risks grow exponentially. In the end, power without responsibility is like giving someone a match in a dry forest. The intention may be innocent, but the consequences can be devastating. Responsibility is the lens through which power must always be filtered. It is the difference between creating progress and creating chaos. And it is a reminder that wisdom, humility, and accountability are more important than skill or intelligence when it comes to shaping the future. When technology moves faster than human values, the results can be confusing, dangerous, and sometimes devastating. Every innovation carries incredible potential, but if our understanding, ethics, and decision-making cannot keep up, we risk creating tools and systems that harm more than they help. This is not a distant worry. It is happening right now in our everyday lives. Think about artificial intelligence, for example. It can write, analyze, and even create in ways that were once impossible. It can help doctors diagnose illnesses, help students learn, and help businesses operate efficiently. Yet, if those who design and use AI fail to consider ethical implications, privacy concerns, and fairness, it can amplify bias, spread misinformation, or even make decisions that affect millions without human oversight. The technology itself is not evil, but without guiding values, it can easily produce harm. A historical example is the Industrial Revolution. Machines and new technologies transformed the world, but because society's values and regulations lagged behind, workers suffered in unsafe conditions, child labor became widespread, and the environment was severely damaged. Progress without ethical consideration can lead to suffering, even when the innovation itself is remarkable. The lesson is clear: speed and advancement are meaningless if they outpace our ability to handle them responsibly. Even on a smaller scale, This principle applies in areas like finance and communication. High-speed trading can create enormous profits, but when algorithms operate faster than oversight, they can cause market crashes. Social media platforms can connect billions, but when content spreads faster than moderation or fact, checking the result is chaos, mistrust, and sometimes violence. Technology moves at the speed of innovation, but human judgment, empathy, and moral reasoning often lag behind. The solution lies in bridging this gap between innovation and values. Developers, leaders, and users must prioritize ethics alongside efficiency and speed alongside understanding. Transparency, accountability, and foresight are not optional, they are essential. By embedding human values into the development and deployment of technology, we can ensure that progress serves humanity rather than putting it at risk. Ultimately, the pace of innovation should never outstrip the pace of our responsibility, awareness, and ethical thinking. Technology is powerful, but it is not neutral. If human values are left behind, we create tools that may look impressive, but can cause immense unintended harm. The true challenge of our era is not inventing faster or smarter systems. It is making sure that as we advance, our ethics, empathy, and responsibility advance with them. Without that balance, progress itself can become a threat rather than a blessing. Losing trust in truth is one of the most dangerous challenges any society can face, and it is more damaging than losing jobs, money, or even entire systems. When people can no longer distinguish between fact and falsehood, decision-making becomes chaotic, relationships break down, and progress is threatened. Trust is the foundation of every functioning society, every successful organization, and every meaningful relationship. Without it, even the strongest institutions crumble. Consider how misinformation spreads online. A single false story can reach millions within hours, creating panic, anger, or confusion. People make choices based on what they believe is true, but if those beliefs are built on lies or distortions, the consequences can be severe. Unlike financial loss, which can sometimes be reversed, the loss of trust in truth is often permanent and hard to repair. History gives us many examples of the devastation caused by eroding trust. In times of war or political upheaval, propaganda has been used to manipulate entire populations, convincing people to act against their own best interests or the welfare of others. When truth becomes relative or is questioned for convenience, society becomes vulnerable. People start to distrust leaders, experts, institutions, and even each other. Decisions that require collective action, such as responding to public health crises, addressing climate change, or managing economic policies, become nearly impossible when truth is no longer a shared foundation. Even in everyday life, the principle applies. A manager who is not honest with their team destroys morale. A teacher who misrepresents facts misguides students. A company that hides information about its products loses customers forever. Small acts of dishonesty accumulate into larger patterns. And the result is always the same. People stop trusting. Once trust is broken, no amount of skill, innovation, or persuasion can fully restore it. In today's world where information moves faster than ever, the danger is multiplied. Social media, instant communication, and advanced technologies allow misinformation to spread far beyond the reach of traditional verification. This makes it not just a personal problem, but a global one. The solution lies in prioritizing honesty, transparency, and integrity at every level. Leaders, creators, and everyday individuals must commit to verifying information, speaking the truth, and holding themselves accountable. Ultimately, losing trust in truth is not just inconvenient, it is a threat to civilization itself. Protecting truth is more important than protecting short-term gains, reputations, or convenience. When truth is valued and upheld, society functions, relationships flourish, and progress is meaningful. But when it is ignored or manipulated, everything we build becomes unstable. In the end, the strength of our world depends on how much we care about truth and the courage we show in defending it. Those who create powerful tools and technologies carry a responsibility that is heavier than most people realize. The ability to shape the future, influence millions, or change the way society functions is not something to be taken lightly. Every decision made by innovators, leaders, or creators has consequences, both seen and unseen, and failing to recognize this responsibility can lead to irreversible harm. Consider the development of the internet. When it first emerged, it was celebrated as a tool to connect people, share knowledge, and empower voices. But without responsible oversight, it also became a platform for cybercrime, misinformation, and exploitation. The very tool that promised progress brought new challenges that could not have been ignored. This shows that the power to create also comes with the duty to anticipate consequences and act with wisdom. Responsibility goes beyond technical skill or intelligence. It involves moral awareness, humility, and accountability. A software engineer designing an algorithm must not just about efficiency or profit, but about fairness, bias, and the potential impact on society. A business leader launching a new product must consider environmental effects, social consequences and long-term implications, not just immediate gains. In every area of life, when influence is paired with responsibility, it can produce growth, trust, and meaningful progress. When it is neglected, it can produce chaos, harm, and regret. Even outside of technology, the principle remains true. A teacher has the power to shape a student's worldview. A parent has the power to shape a child's character. And a public figure has the power to shape opinions. If this power is wielded without responsibility, the effects ripple outward in ways that are hard to reverse. Words spoken carelessly, decisions made selfishly, or guidance offered without thought can create lasting damage. Yet when used with mindfulness, the same power can inspire, educate, and uplift. In the modern world, the stakes are higher than ever. Innovations in artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and global communication create possibilities that previous generations could not imagine. But with these possibilities comes the risk of unintended consequences, ethical dilemmas, and global impact. It is not enough to be smart or capable. Creators must remain vigilant, humble, and morally conscious. Ultimately, those who hold power to shape the world must do so with a sense of duty. The tools we create, the systems we design, and the influence we wield are mirrors of our values. If we neglect responsibility, we risk harming the very society we hope to improve. True progress is measured not just by what we build, but by how conscientiously we use our power to benefit others while avoiding harm. Responsibility transforms potential into legacy. The future does not depend on how advanced or intelligent our creations become, but on how conscious and thoughtful our decisions remain. Every invention, every system, every powerful tool is shaped by the choices of those who create and use them. A brilliant technology without careful guidance can cause harm, while modest innovations guided by wisdom can change the world for the better. Consider the example of electricity. When it was first harnessed, it had the potential to illuminate the world, power industries, and transform daily life. But without regulations, safety standards, and ethical considerations, it could have led to countless accidents, injuries, and even disasters. The difference between progress that serves humanity and progress that endangers it is not in the technology itself, but in the conscious decisions surrounding its use. Conscious decision-making requires awareness of both immediate and long-term consequences. Leaders who ignore this risk making choices that are convenient in the moment but disastrous in the future. Think of social media algorithms that prioritize engagement over accuracy. They were designed to keep people connected, but when the impact on mental health, polarization, and misinformation was ignored, the results were widespread and harmful. The systems themselves were intelligent, but the lack of conscious oversight created problems that could have been avoided with thoughtful consideration. Even in everyday life, the same principle applies. A parent guiding a child, a teacher shaping a student, or a manager leading a team must make decisions with awareness of the impact on others. Skill alone is not enough. Understanding, empathy, and foresight determine whether those decisions create growth or harm. A technically perfect solution can fail if human factors are neglected, while a solution guided by conscious awareness can succeed even with limited resources. In today's rapidly changing world, the need for conscious decision-making is more urgent than ever. Artificial intelligence, biotechnology, global communication systems, and automation present unprecedented power. But these tools are not inherently good or bad. Their impact depends on the wisdom of those who wield them. Decisions made without consideration of ethics, fairness, and long-term effects can amplify inequality, spread harm, or undermine society itself. Ultimately, intelligence alone does not secure a better future. Creativity, innovation, and skill are meaningless without the guiding force of conscious choice. The measure of progress is not how smart our tools become, but how deliberate, ethical, and thoughtful our actions are in using them. If humanity can pair innovation with awareness, knowledge with conscience, and power with responsibility, the future will be shaped not by fear or chaos, but by wisdom, compassion, and meaningful growth. The future belongs not to the fastest or smartest, but to those who act with conscience and clarity. As we come to the end of this conversation, remember that the most powerful forces in our world, technology, innovation, influence, are only as good as the choices we make in using them. Fear is not a weakness. It is a signal that responsibility, awareness, and wisdom are needed more than ever. The tools we create, the decisions we make, and the power we hold are mirrors of our values. If we act carelessly, without conscience or foresight, even the most brilliant advancements can cause harm. But if we act with awareness, humility, and accountability, we can transform potential into progress, mistakes into lessons, and power into a force for good. Every one of us has a role to play. Whether we are creators, leaders, learners, or everyday citizens, our decisions ripple outward in ways we may never fully see. The challenges we face today, whether technological, social, or personal cannot be ignored, but they also need not overwhelm us. By staying grounded in truth, guided by ethics, and committed to responsibility, we can navigate uncertainty without losing our direction. Remember that real courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act wisely in spite of it. Real progress is not measured by speed or complexity, but by the thoughtfulness and conscience behind every action. History shows us that tools alone do not shape the future. People do. And the greatest power any of us has is the power to choose how we create, how we lead, and how we impact the world. So let this be a reminder: fear is a teacher, responsibility is a guide, and conscious decisions are the bridge between possibility and reality. The future will reflect not just what we invent, but how consciously we act, how honestly we lead, and how carefully we consider the consequences of our choices. If we hold ourselves to these principles, we will not only survive the challenges ahead, we will thrive. And in the end, the world we shape will be a reflection of the wisdom, compassion, and accountability we bring to every decision we make. This is our responsibility, and this is our opportunity, and this is the path forward.